you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. We're continuing still with prepping up to get this window taken out so we can put the door in. I think the door is going to arrive tomorrow, so we got to get our act together here today and get this all ready to just pop the window out, cut what's left, and put the door in. When it comes time to put the door in, we've got to go quick, right? Because you can't leave the camp open overnight. So anyways, I think what we're up to today is we're going to do pull some wire and maybe tie all that circuitry together in there so that that's all out of the way, and get the screws of the nailer strip on the window, see if that window is going to be able to come out easily. Okay folks, just made a major decision here. I've got my holes drilled to run my wire across the top of the window. Those are all drilled, no problem. But I'm struggling to get into this cavity behind this piece of aspenite paneling right here. So what I'm going to do, because the aspenite paneling goes on and then the pine paneling goes over it, I'm going to cut an access hole right here behind where I think the outside octagon box is, and from that access hole I'll be able to reach in to get my wires to fish them down over the insulation so that it won't damage the insulation too much. I'll be able to tape off the back of the octagon box like I did on this side, and I think it'll be good. And then when I put the pine over top of it, it'll just cover the hole in the aspenite anyways, and it won't be a big deal. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and figure out approximately where that octagon box is, and I'm going to cut about a 6x6 hole in there. So I have this wire run over the window and some pulled out in the switch box, so it's going to get tied into the circuits here, so I'll just leave about a foot or so past that box, cut this wire, make an entry to this box here. I have to cut a hole in this, stay over there will you? Cut a hole in this draft box. And then take the blank out. So I'm going to run this wire in the outside hole. Something like that. So now when I cut this one, I can fish that down into that box and pull it out, and that's how I'm going to make my junction in there on the outlet. We need to save enough here to go through that octagon box to make the junction. And the same over here. Since we have multiple wires now in this box here, I'm going to mark the one that's this is the switch leg, So I'm just going to put a hunk of tape on that so I'll know that the red one is the switched leg. So I was out and shut the power off. So here's my meter. Nothing. So we're safe. So this is the feed I'm going to cut, this 14.2 here. So I need to cut enough of that back to reach this box, but save enough to get up to this box. So I'm thinking I might just cut it right here. Feed her down through my hole and into the junction box. Take the kinks out of it. Feed that up through the draft box. Tuck that wire back in there nice and neat and make sure that the insulation is back. Good. And now I can take some of this and I'm going to put it over the entry into these draft boxes just to try to kill the draft a little bit. I don't know how good this will do, but anyway, better than nothing. Alright, a quick summary. I have the power shut off. I have the feed coming into this box here, and that's going to just connect onto this box and go way up here and across the top of the window, down this side, and it's going to show up right here. And when I put my switch in, I'm going to make some junctions in here, and then this is the continuing feed that goes to the other outlet. And then I'm going to put a switch in here with the switch leg. This will be the switch leg, and that's going to go up, and it's going to go to one light there and go back across the top of the window and tie in the other light there. So I'll have two outside lights on a switched leg that feeds off of these outlets. So this wire is my feed coming in. So we strip that back. Two ground wires. I'm just going to wrap these together, and then I'm going to cut one end off. Tuck it down in the box, and then on one of the ground wire lugs at the back, right, so here's the ground wire. I have 4 wires and a ground, so if you look on the terminals on the duplexes, it's pretty simple really. The light colored wires go on the light colored terminals, white in this case, and the dark colored wires, black, go on the gold terminals. And you can tell too, the neutral always has the bigger slot, and the hot side is the shorter slot, and of course the ground goes on the ground. Okay, this is 14 wires, so we put it in the 14 gauge slot. And just strip off about a ½ inch or so. Doesn't have to be exact. And then put little curls in each of these, little pigtails. When you're installing on the terminal, since the terminal turns clockwise to tighten, make sure you wrap your wires on clockwise. I always like to start with my ground wire. there. And when you're wiring, you should always connect the ground wire on your outlets. It just makes good common sense. And then the white on the white terminal. Turn it around, and then the black on the gold terminal. And then when you're installing these, there's always the age-old debate. Does the ground side go down or ground side goes up? And I always look at it like that's a little face and that's a mouth. And you know, your mouth is always below your eyes. Those are the eyes, that's the mouth. Or another way to remember is U ground goes down. Ground down, right? So then you just fold up your wires and install it in the box. For the switch now, remember the conductor, the 14.2 that I marked with the red tape, that's the switch leg. So here's the feed coming in, and this is the feed going out to the other outlets. So what I'm going to do is just trim those back a little. So anyway, I'm going to take this feed, the power feed, and I'm going to strip that back. And then this is the feed to continue on to the next outlet, and then the switched leg. So I have to be careful now because I've cut my identifier off the switch leg, but I have to remember then that the switch leg is on the right side of the box, just so that I'll know which one to switch. Now what we're going to do is join the grounds together first off. So there's the 3 grounds right there. So I'm going to grab them all with my pliers, twist them all together. There we go. And then tuck those way in the back of the box so that they're not in anybody's way. All the neutrals have to come together as one, because what I'm doing here is I'm taking power that's going to pass through this box. So I just have to make parallel connection in here, like white to white, black to black, to continue on. But then I have to take a feed from the hot black side and switch it to go out to my lights. And of course the neutral from the lights comes back and all the neutrals join together. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to join all the neutrals together. So I'm going to cut these off a little shorter. Strip them back. And now we join all 3 of these together. So again, we gather up the 3 wires and grab them with our pliers and then twist. So what I'm doing here is I'm making an electrical connection, and with electrical connections we put barrette connectors, and they come in different sizes, but a good rule of thumb for making electrical connections is make a good solid mechanical connection first and then put the barrette on it, and you twist the wires when you're making the mechanical connection in a clockwise direction the same way as the barrette, so everything locks in good and tight. So then you push that back. Alright, so that's all our neutrals. So now here's the hot coming in, and here's the hot feed for our outlets, and this is the switch leg. The switch leg has to go on the switch, so what I need to do is I have to join these 2 and then put a little pigtail on it to go to my switch, because I'm going to switch to this leg, right? So I have to join, I have to join these 2, that's the hot coming in and the hot going out. I have to join that with another conductor, another black conductor, so I have to get a piece here. Now, once more, I take those 2, because that's the hot coming in, and then continuing on. And then the little pigtail that I made, I'm going to join that to those 3. Something like that, and again, in a clockwise direction with my pliers, I make a mechanical connection, and then I take a barrette connector, a little hook in those guys, And then I take my switch. And on the switch you'll notice 2 gold terminals, because you you should always switch the hot side. And the reason you do that is, say for example, if it's going to a light, which in this case it is, if you look in the socket of a light, the outside ring of the screw base is the neutral, and the hot terminal is right at the very base of that lamp socket. When you look in, you see a little copper square piece. That's the hot side. You want the neutral to go to the screw base on the outside, because you can touch neutrals and it's safe. Normally you can't get a shock unless there's an electrical problem in the system somewhere. So the screw base is probably going to be exposed around the bulb or something. You can see it, you can touch it, so it's not going to be a problem. However, if you didn't switch the hot side, if you switched the neutral side, then the hot side would end up on that screw base, and you could ruin your day if you ever touched it. And then I'll put the switched leg on this terminal. There you go. So there, I cut the wire and stuck it through the box. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and then we'll go outside. Alright, we got everything buttoned up outside, so I turned the power back on. Don't know whether you can see that. It says 0 volts or 0.7 or something, but now it says 123. Let's check out the new one. 123. Gotta like that. And I can't test the lights because I don't have lights installed yet. If you can see that, that's my alarm clock, which is plugged into the outlet that's downstream of where we made the cut, and it's flashing, telling me that it has power again. So I guess I was lucky and had her all done right the first time. So I'm thinking that's it for today. Appreciate everybody watching. Anyways, we'll talk to you. So for the next video, what I'm planning on doing, since I didn't get to it today, I need to get at this top part here. I really have to get under those boards, whether they come right off right to the peak ridge line, roof line, I'm not sure, but I've got to get behind there to get some screws out of there. And then I'm going to take the screws out of along the bottom of the window. And then I'll take most of them out of each side, but just leave a couple there to hold the window in place. I expect my door is going to arrive tomorrow. So then it's go time then, folks. We're going to have to take that window out, cut the rest of this wall out right here, and then place the door, plumb it up, screw her in. But we're just about ready to start putting things back together.